we'll talk about success a little bit. We'll talk about mindset. And I have a specific example. I get a text from one of the employees, and it says that that one of the trainees didn't show up for the day because I'm asking questions about who's where. It's important that you know everything that's going on when you're in charge, right? Now, this is my opinion. All this bullshit about not knowing what's going on in your business, again, as I've said, that's bullshit. And I know it's bullshit for me. And I know it's bullshit overall because I know a lot of business owners that fucking know everything about their business, right?
Yep.
I know people who work on their business while they're working in their business. I think they're synonymous. It's the same thing. Because, there's this work on your business, not in your business. And if you're working in your business, yes, I have a snarky voice. If you're working in your business, then you're not doing it correctly. And you go on the fucking line, and that's all you see at, again, 30-year-old know-it-alls that read something in a book.
That don't own a business.
That don't own a business and have never done it. Or they have their Shopify store, right? And they, it just runs all by itself, and I don't have to do anything. And that's how you run a business, which we all know, drop shipping, Shopify, Forex, all that bullshit. It's not a real fucking business. But in this case, the working in your business is exactly what you should be doing based on A, my experience, and B, the experience of the 30 odd people I know that have businesses that work in them. So for me, my way to delegate is to teach the people that work for me how I do it, which is, everything. You don't take anything for granted. You don't assume a thing. The old adage, it just makes an ass out of you and me, assume. That's 100% true. You don't assume anything. And I'm a bit of a control freak, so that always came easy to me. And then remember, everything's your fault. 100%. So you've heard me say everything's your fault, and here's how this ties in. If you agree that that knowing your business inside and out 100% is a thing, it's important, and that this whole work on your business rather than in it is not necessarily true, then here's an example of how that falls down simply from a mindset perspective. I'll give you this example. This is the text I get. The trainee was a no-show. No one told me. So before I tell you what I replied, what do you think? So I asked how the trainee's going. He says he uses the person by name, but I won't use the names. Trainee was a no-show. No one told me. What was my reaction to that, do you think?
Why didn't you know?
Oh, you've been listening. So I merely asked, I said, you mean you didn't ask? That was my, Now imagine the mindset. This person's pretty hardcore about doing this stuff. And so imagine how simple it is to let that just slip through from a mindset perspective, unless somebody's there to catch you like I am, or to say, no, this is the way that I think that we should be doing it. And so and knowing this person knows me very well, and this person knows that I'm going to call bullshit the second I hear it, and yet still sends it.
Well, I think we can all fall into those, and it takes somebody to catch you and point it out for you to realize what you're doing sometimes.
Right. That's exactly my point. So I said, you mean you didn't ask? And the reply was, yeah, that too. That's on me all day. So the point is just how simple it is for us to fall into that trap of it's their fault. Therefore, I have no responsibility for it. I would never say, no one told me. I'd never say that, ever. I would say, fuck, I didn't ask. My fault. Well, you wouldn't know to ask about something. But I should have. If something went wrong on it, I should have asked. And this is a perfect example of the approach I have to business, which is everything is your fault, even when it's not. And if you can't handle that, then you're going to make business that much more difficult for you. So I made myself a note to talk about that specific example, and just to remind everybody that this is somebody that's hardcore about trying to do it the way that I do it, and still falls into that trap, which to your point, Billy, is the default for all of us, which is it's somebody else's fault. It's so easy. God damn, it feels so good, right? It's like, yeah, that got fucked up, but Mike didn't tell me about it. That, is it still fucked up? Yeah. Did the customer still fuck it up? Yeah, but Mike didn't tell me. Okay, what's that do for us? Nothing. Why didn't Mike tell you? Did you train Mike correctly? Did you have a check in place for Mike correctly? Did we do everything that we're supposed to for Mike correctly? And unless the answer to that is yes, it's all your fault.
Problems. And I think it's so easy just to push that blame off and just keep moving along.
Yeah, it's a default.
Yeah.
I'm taking a drink of my delicious beverage. So I wanted to just pass that along, and as an example for aspiring, really this isn't even, it's not even an entrepreneurial thing. This is a take responsibility for your life thing, and this will benefit you immeasurably the way it has me. I answered a question, I don't know, we were on somebody's podcast here the other day, and they asked me that question, and my answer was because I take responsibility for everything, and it's an answer I don't think that he had gotten before. When asked about, what was one of those critical things to being successful. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I just don't think that you hear that very much.